If you could fly, how high above the ground would you normally fly?
I mean, I'd probably go 100 to 1,000. I feel like that's the a good range to where you're not too high, but obviously you're not that low either. So,
Oh, I don't think I would fly very high. I would stay pretty close to the ground still because I'd be a little bit worried that something was going to go wrong and I would suddenly come crashing to the ground. So, unless I had a really specific reason to fly up high, I don't think I'd go more than like 5 or 10 feet off the ground. I would just cruise street level.
nowadays it's not safe to even go to the airport. So, that's another thing we've done great as a country. Well done.
Oh my God, you are just going rants all the time about the kids today, the government.
So, a question that I actually was wondering is obviously you're going to wait, right? Through in TSA because you're not going to miss your flight. But
Well, you don't have any other choice.
but
Like
like
you can't just like rush the plane.
but like
So yeah, like you're just gonna have to wait.
at what point do you start to be like, listen, this is kind of a lot. Like after an hour, after a half an hour, like when does your patience run out?
If the line is longer than 30 minutes, I don't want to deal with it at all. Like people who go to Disney World and wait hours, that boggles my mind. I would never do that.
I mean, I love I did the fast pass thing one year at Universal or whatever it's called. I forget what it's called back then. I don't think it was called fast pass,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
the lines were still 30 minutes. And I'm like, why is it a fast pass if you still have to wait 30 minutes? That doesn't make any sense.
Because then they're going to sell you the fast pass. That's all part of the strategy, right? That's all part of the plan. So I polled the audience about our flight question, which you just completely ignored because you wanted to go on rants about the
Oh,
government, because that's what everybody wants to hear.
how's the weather
People
in
ranting about the
Seattle?
government. Huh?
How's the weather in Seattle?
I'm not answering that question. You can look it up on your own if you want to know what the weather in Seattle is. But I polled the audience about this. 40% of people said 10 feet or less. 30% said 100 feet or less. 20% said 1,000 feet or less. And only 10% said they would regularly fly above 1,000 feet. I'm staying close to the ground, man. I want my feet on. The older I get, the more I want my feet on the ground.
I just think 10 feet is, once again, you say 100 feet, people don't realize how tall that is. I don't think people realize that 10 feet really isn't that high.
I mean, it's pretty high.
I mean,
Like, it's a basketball goal. Like, yeah, I don't really think that for your daily routine, you need to fly that much higher than that. Like if I'm just going to the grocery store down the street, I'm not flying up 100 feet in the air to do it. Like I'm just going to cruise at like head level.
also, is it raining in Seattle today?
I'm not answering any of your questions about weather.
It's
I'm not
actually nice
talking about
weather,
weather.
man.
I'm
You're out
not
there
93.
60 degrees already. Must be nice.
Oh yeah, this is why I don't want to talk about Seattle weather is because we actually have some of the nicest weather in the country. We just perpetuate this myth that it's rainy and cold and dreary here all the time because people don't come.
Let me
We
ask
want
you a
to go
question
mountain
about the
biking.
flying because I'm curious. Where do
Okay.
you think you would fly to on a regular basis if you could fly? Like, would you
Everywhere.
just everywhere? Like it,
Everywhere. Why would I ever walk again?
I mean, I don't know, because walking is nice, running's nice. Well,
It's
no,
not as nice as flying. I could
running's
like
not.
I just want to go for a walk. Like if I want to get physical activity, that's one thing. But if I just want to go like outside and do something, why would I ever walk if I could fly? I would just hover above the ground because it lets everybody else know that I can fly.
But what about would you give up your what's that? Your electric scooters?
That's flying. I mean, that's just another form of flying because I'm zooming around the place. I don't understand how my electric scooter is any different than flying, to be honest with you. I'm above the ground and I'm just zipping along. Nobody can tell me what
There's
to
a
do. I
big
can go
difference,
wherever I want.
but
I
it's
can go
fun.
on the streets. I can go on the sidewalk. I can go through the park. I can do whatever I want. It's essentially flying right now.
No, it is. It's not even close, but it's fun.
What's the difference? The only difference is that I can't go higher up in the air, but I'm off the ground and I'm just zooming around doing whatever I want. And everybody who looks at it is like, man, that guy looks like he's fucking getting it.
And I don't know. I don't know if that's correct, but I'll let you think that way.
Well, you would be wrong.
Let's give some shout outs here. Luisa Velasquez, Belle Hunter, Olivia Holman, Clayton Mullen, Connor Kirby, Byron Reynolds, Jerry James, Anna Dickinson, and Zanya Ramos.
You don't hear a lot of Claytons.
There's
not a lot of Claytons.
It's probably Clay, to be honest with you, right? I'm sure it's not Clayton formally.
I would imagine that it is Clayton formally. I think if you had the name Clay, you wouldn't just lengthen it to Clayton for no damn reason. Like, why would you do that? Like, you know what? My name's Clay, but I just want to make it longer so I can type more words in.
No, I meant like it's probably... No, he's probably Clayton, but he goes by Clay, is what I meant.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Not the other. Why would I say the other way around? That doesn't make sense.
I don't know. You're the one who said it. Like, I didn't say it. You're the one who said it. You're the one who said it's his name is Clay, but he probably likes to go by Clayton. No, it's not.
I've been drinking since noon, so it's fine.
Oh, okay. That's good.
All right. I thought we'd play a little game today.
Okay.
So I picked 5 random inventions throughout time.
Okay.
And I guessed when they were invented, when they came out. And
okay.
So obviously I know the answer, but I did do this truthfully before as well. So let's see.
Am I going to have any clue? Like, am I going to have any clue? And how discerning are we going to be about this, right? Like, what's my credit window? So if you say it was invented in 1890 and I guessed 1892, I feel like I should get credit.
Yeah, yes. I was going to go with 10 years, give or take.
Okay, but if it goes back beyond 1500, then I should get 100 years.
Okay. Well, I don't have any that far back, okay?
Okay. All right. Okay.
All right. So we'll do 5 and we'll see where we end up here. So the first one is and I'll say it and then you give your years or whatever your year and I'll give mine. So the first one is the vaccination.
Oh, 1920s.
You're not even close. I said 1830. It was actually first invented in 1798.
Okay, so this is what my concern is with this game, is that they're ultimately going to be things we have no idea with, because there's a big difference between when something was invented and then when something became popular.
Why do you just go with it? Who cares if you're right or wrong? Just go with it.
Because they're all going to be completely wrong.
No,
like, okay, I have no idea. I should just say no fucking clue for every single one of these.
There are some from like that's the earliest one. The rest are,
Okay. All right. Let me guess. I'm going to get every single one of these not anywhere near correct.
I don't think that's true. So okay. The next one, television.
1910.
Close. I said 1940. It was actually 1927.
Okay.
See, you were almost within the window.
Almost. So I got fairly close by guessing what 20 years, because I'm guessing essentially 20 years earlier than what I really think. So like I would have guessed the 1940s, so I said 1910.
Yeah, but you were closer.
Okay.
When was the first credit card issue? You terrible.
1756.
No, see, we're done. Why do you got to ruin it?
1756. Because maybe it was invented in 1756. They had money back then. Maybe they had credit. And maybe the guy was like, I invented this credit card. How do you know that Bob's General Store back in Nagadocious
this
didn't
was a good
invent
idea,
that?
And Nick has to ruin it. So
I'm just like, I'm sorry. When was it invented?
Clearly, there is no record of a credit card being issued until this date, or it wouldn't be this date. It would have been in the 1700s. They didn't have electronic media in the 1700s to do a credit card.
They could write things down. They had pencils and paper. That was invented. They could have been like, hey, my credit card. And one of those things could have survived in a time capsule or whatever.
No, I'm sorry.
So when is it invented?
1958. It wasn't when it was invented.
Oh wow, I would have thought that would have been much earlier.
It was when it was first issued. When they might have been invented in the 20s, but the first credit card was issued.
Well, we were talking about inventions, and now we're talking about when it was issued. So that's not the same thing.
No, I said.
So are we playing? What are the rules that we're going by?
See,
when it was invented, when it was popularized.
You're starting to piss me off. You're starting to piss me off.
because I'm getting right, because you know I'm right.
No, you're not right. I don't know how you take this and ruin it. Makes no sense to me. Just
Because
move
it's
on.
amazing.
I'm done.
What are your other two? What are
done.
they?
Let's move on.
Okay, well then when was juice invented?
I'm done. Just for the record, you can't say that I don't try to do anything on this podcast because you ruin it.
When have I ever said that?
You ruin it. Moving on.
What do you want to move on to?
Nothing. Top
Sure
5.
You don't want to do the last two?
Let's let this be the fastest episode ever.
I think it's already at like 18 minutes. Well, you brought up weather real early.
Yeah, because I
want to talk about
care
weather.
About you.
Okay, how about this? I'll make it up to you, and then we can continue. Tell me one thing you want to talk about the weather.
I don't. I'm not saying the other two.
When
you butchered it.
When was the barometer invented? Hold on, I'm gonna look it up.
No, I'm not. You can't.
When
you can't
was
make me.
the Do you know how to spell barometer? Barometer. When do you think that? When do you think the barometer was invented?
1786.
It's actually not that bad. 1643. Do you want to do thermometer?
No,
do you want to do thermometer?
I want to move on to our top 5 so I can leave you.
Thermometer invented. Ooh. Okay. When do you think the thermometer was invented?
The day that I never should have ever talked to you.
Well, that wasn't. What was that? Back 2011. It's before 2011. Are you going to guess or not?
I'm not guessing. I'm done. I'm done with this.
Okay, fine. I'll tell you then. Galileo Galilei invented the thermometer around 1593. There's actually a guy named Daniel Fahrenheit. Oh, no, that is not absolutely true. That can't be true. There was actually a guy named Daniel Fahrenheit, and then there was somebody named Anders Celsius. So they're named after people. I always assumed it was just named after something else. I didn't know it was actually a guy named Fahrenheit and Celsius. Nothing?
Can we move on?
Oh,
great.
Fine.
Awesome.
Fine.
Over.
Throw your fit. Throw your fit.
I'm not throwing a fit. I just done. I'm done talking about this.
All right, so our top 5 is top 5 biggest events of the year. What's your number 5?
So for like events,
can you tell me what your other thing? Can you just tell me what the things were?
I'm not doing it. So my number 5 biggest event of the year is the Super Bowl.
Oh, what's going to be? Oh, I have that higher on the list. I'm okay. My number 5 is March Madness.
Okay.
I think March Madness is actually a big cultural event. Like a lot of people are aware of that's happening. Maybe they don't and participate to some degree.
I mean, in America, sure. I don't know if it's that well received outside of America.
Would you agree that March Madness is the second biggest sporting event?
No, probably not even. Probably barely in my top 5.
You're not going to say that March Madness, it's like essentially, 2 or 3 weeks long.
I mean,
everybody kind of knows about it. I don't think that any other
Champions League finals bigger. Australian Open finals bigger.
Not in the United States. What about the backgammon championship? I'm sure that's huge in India.
I'm just saying, I'm going globally, not just in America.
Okay, what about in America?
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I mean, I think football rules, right? So the Super Bowl, college football playoffs are probably above it.
I would disagree because they're not publicly. They're like you have to pay for the channel to watch it, and I think that really holds that back. March Madness, anybody can see it.
But I mean,
that would be my reasoning.
Yeah, I mean, March Madness is great. No one cares about college basketball legitimately until now, and it's a lot of fun.
Oh, and I don't care about it when it's over. Okay, what's your number 4?
That's because Kansas State is nowhere to be found, man. Tell you what.
Oh, Kansas has dropped off pretty significantly. Kansas
So
State
my
not
number
doing
4.
so well.
I just said it actually. It's the Champions League final.
I don't even know what that is.
That's,
I really don't. Like, I can't go with your number 4 when I don't know what it is.
I mean, I could explain it to you, but you're just gonna say that I'm boring you, so I'm not gonna even say it. But it's probably on a non-World Cup year, it is the biggest soccer match, individual soccer match of the year.
My number 4 is the start and end of school.
Okay, that's a good one.
What's your number 3?
What's better, the start or the end, in your opinion?
Well, the end. Oh, well, the end when you're a kid and the start when you're a parent.
Okay. My number 3 is trick or treating.
I thought a lot about Halloween. I thought a lot about putting Halloween on the list. I can't say that, though. I don't think that that's only because it's one day. And if March Madness was only one day, I would put Halloween above it. But I thought a lot about putting Halloween on that list. My number 3 is the Super Bowl.
Okay. I think that's good. I don't think it can go much higher than that, but I think that's a good spot for it.
Okay, what's your number 2?
New Year's.
You're going to put New Year's above Thanksgiving, which is my number 2?
I don't even have Thanksgiving on my list.
You would still say, though, that New Year's Eve is a bigger day than Thanksgiving?
In terms of an event? Yeah, around the world, absolutely.
Well, yeah, I guess around the world. But in the United States, I would have to put Thanksgiving above New Year's Eve.
It's fair.
Okay, what's your number 1?
Christmas.
Yeah, Christmas is pretty dominant. Do you have any in your honorable mention? Do you want to do your invention thing?
No, I don't.
Are you still salty about it?
I'm
not gonna do that.
You were the one who you can't come back on it after ruining it. You can't do that.
I didn't ruin it. You're ruining it by stopping it.
No, you ruined it because you were like, well, what if it doesn't do that? We're like, just answer the question. What?
Okay. I'll just answer the question.
I'm not saying it. Not saying it. You're gonna have to cut me off.
Why can't I just you won't say it and I'll just answer it?
No.
I
have Oktoberfest in my honorable mention.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess if you go looking worldwide, yeah.
Kind of a personal favorite. And then just some sporting events that, you already shit on some of them, so.
I bet you have Formula One on there, don't you?
No, I have the Masters golf tournament.
If we were doing top sporting events, I would definitely put the Masters in the top 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't go higher in the top 5, but I would agree the Masters is the biggest sport and golf event.
I mean, any of those, the British Open even, they're all huge globally, which is insane because golf kind of sucks in terms of they don't have any superstars anymore.
Oh, he froze. No, I don't really know any professional athletes anymore. Where would you put the invention of the lead pencil, the mechanical pencil?
I would take it and I would stick it up your butt right now.
But when do you think the mechanical pencil was invented? See, now you're just pouting.
I'm not pouting.
Now you're just pouting.
I've just moved on. I'm leaving. I'm leaving this.